I think it was around 2019, maybe 2020. I think it was just before COVID hit. So after a few years of just having these horrific funks where I just felt empty inside and just couldn't enjoy anything, like I was lost in some other world, I finally spoke to a psychologist. I found out that I was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder, GAD, and obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD. Now, GAD is the more self-explanatory one. Generally it means you dread things a lot more often. Like you panic faster, you keep thinking about the future and how if you're not, you need to be doing something or else everything's just gonna fall apart. OCD is based, as the name suggests, on obsessions and compulsions. Like your mind fixates on something and you feel compelled to go through this almost ritualistic behavior to cope with it. Say you see something that you find disturbing, or even something you don't find disturbing, just finds like a little challenging to the brain or something like that. If you suffer from OCD, your brain will latch onto that. You will be constantly thinking about it to the point where you can't think about anything else. And you'll feel compelled to do something about it. Like you'll be pushed into the flight or fight response. You will feel like, well, I need to see it again. I need to see it again. I need to find a way to I need to do something about this. And oftentimes you can't, right? And when you can't do it, when there's nothing you can do about it, when it's beyond your control, you feel like you're breaking down inside. When I was little, I was the weird kid. Which just sounds too broad to like really mean anything. But I was the one that went around making stupid noises to try and make people laugh, or doing voices and whatnot. Because I couldn't focus on my schoolwork, but I could sure as hell focus on some random bit I heard in a movie. You know, some people found it funny, a lot of people found it annoying. And as most kids that are different will have to deal with, I did get bullied in school. Yeah, for some reason, even if I was upset by the things that people said to me, I still felt the need to try and confront them. I didn't know how to confront them. I just didn't want to walk away from them. I wanted to try and be brave and prove I was stronger than I thought I was, and that stronger than they thought they could make me feel. And yeah, most of the time it obviously didn't work. Yeah, it was in high school that I started really worrying about the future and whatnot. When I was basically made aware that, yeah, you can try living in the moment, but you need to at least consider stuff that's going to happen. So I started worrying about my grades. I started worrying about work, because in my senior year I finally had to get a job. I started worrying about what everyone around me would think of me. Even though I was already trying to avoid anyone that wasn't my friend. Yeah, I was also scared, in fact, of death. especially of death. Because I think it was around that point that, I stopped believing in God or an afterlife or anything, and started thinking, like, what happens after you die? And I try to picture myself that, oh, you're just gonna be in the ground and have to live that way forever. Except, right, you won't be living. Your brain will cease to function, so you just won't exist anymore. It was around that time I also discovered Nine Inch Nails, so that probably didn't help my cynical, nihilistic, whatever you want to call it, outlook on life. And of course, my senior year was in 2012. You guys remember what was supposed to, everyone was going apeshit over in 2012? Something that was supposed to happen in late December that year. Was supposed to happen. And of course, not Y2K. No, Brett. That was 12 years before that. But yeah, that was the day. That was the day that of course, the Mayan calendar ended, and that was the last day on the Mayan calendar, and everyone thought that meant that was it. The world was over. But even though I of course knew it wasn't really going to happen, because there was no evidence anything would happen. Like solar flare, big ass flood, asteroid, whatever. I was still freaking out right up until 0 hour came and went. And when it didn't happen, I, of course, had the biggest sigh of relief ever. But that fear always kind of stuck with me. That sort of cataclysmic, instinctual fear that everything could just be snuffed out in my lifetime. And my dogs are going nuts. So around, I think it was late 2017. Yeah, November 2017. I was, this is going to be really stupid, so at least to me it feels stupid, but, and it's why I'm embarrassed to talk about it, but like, it needs to come out and be said. Because the more you talk about it, the less power it has over you, right? 2017, I became aware of this. I stumbled upon this, this comic. I'm not going to say what it was out of respect for the original author, and if you do know what it is, please don't mention it. Don't say the title, because you could very easily trigger a Vietnam-style flashback. That's how bad it gets. The girl is very gruff, very aggressive, mean without even knowing it. And when she gets angry or hungry or something like that, she hulks out into this gigantic Godzilla-sized monster. Yeah, you remember what I was saying about apocalyptic fear? How the whole December 21st, 2012 thing actually got me freaking out a little bit? Yeah, this is what I was building up to. This stupid comic. Well, it's not stupid. It's and I kind of checked out from it. Like okay, I can't read this. This is freaking me out. But OCD kicked in. Of course it did. And it haunted me. And the more I thought about it, the worse it got. And I recalled everything in it so vividly that it was like I was still seeing it. And I couldn't make it stop no matter what I did. But also because, yeah, I know it's stupid. I know it's not real. That's why talking about it is so goddamn embarrassing. Because there's people like having legitimate, like, people that are literally on the edge about their entire lives falling apart. And I'm just worrying about some stupid comic? Like, what am I, some kind of loser? And, yeah. It's been, like... How long has it been? Like, 7 years since then? I've avoided contact with it for a while now. Of course, I would still accidentally come across it in the years between then and now. And it would trigger a Vietnam-style flashback, and I just wouldn't be able to get it out of my head. Like, oh god, it's back. I was not prepared for it. Like, I have not gotten stronger. I need to do something. And of course, there wasn't anything I could do about it other than, talk to a therapist, get on medication, which I am still on medication, and I am seeing a therapist, not as regularly as I should be. And I started working out. I started journaling, doing all that kind of stuff. And yeah, these days, again, like the scamming thing, it's like a fart in the wind to me, and that I hope I'm never going to have to deal with again, because I can't take it. And of course, I still feel guilty about it, because like this is something that someone put a lot of hard work into it, and people like it. So why do I have to be the odd one out and be so turned off by it that I'm actually frightened on the instinctual level? Like, it's part of the reason that I can't watch Godzilla movies or giant monster movies in general, and why, especially shit like Attack on Titan, I cannot watch that show. I can't. At all. Kick-ass music, of course, but I cannot watch that show to save my life. It freaks me out too much. Now I want to get into the reason of why I became a VTuber. Well, one of the reasons. And it's not a very, it's not exactly the best reason. Well, one of the reasons is because, firstly, it helps me get outside my comfort zone. I'm not comfortable showing my face on stream. So, it was either this or bust, right? And I did need to get outside my comfort zone and meet new people, and thankfully I have done that with all you guys and many, many others, which is awesome. And, of course, being able to play video games for hours online and call it work, that's also awesome. Even if I'm not, making any money because I just started. But, yeah. The other reason is because in February of this year, I was made aware of a certain person. I'm gonna put a disclaimer is that I do not mean to offend this person. I do not wish to antagonize them. They've been through a lot. They've worked very hard. They're doing great, and they deserve all the praise that they get. And I'm not trying to change them. It's just I need to say something about this to get it off my chest and hopefully have less power over me, Yeah, I need to stop again and say that I am not trying to attack her. If it comes across like that, I am sorry. I don't want it to sound that way. This is just my honest feelings, and this is the only way I know how to deal with it, is to talk about it, and how it's messy. It's a whole messy story that I've tried to explain in this stream, and I don't think I'm explaining it that well. And I of course am not looking for an answer. to any of this, because I know if there is one, which I don't think there is, if there is an answer, it's not going to be anywhere near easy. Like, it could be that I just have to suck it up, ride it out, and just focus on me, which is a whole lot harder than I want. In the same way that she scares me, she also does kind of inspire me, because she's like she is an inspiration to people. Like, she's great. She's a great person. She does a whole bunch of great content. She should, by all means, be an Oshi for me, and yet I'm afraid of her. I've gotten so sucked into the roleplay, into the immersion, that every time I see her, I feel angry, I feel scared, I feel guilty. Because, in fact, I feel guilty talking about it right now, because, what if she sees this? What if she hears me saying these words right now? Or what if someone tells her this is what I've been saying about her, and I've hurt her or something, that I've hurt someone that I look up to, even if I'm also kind of scared of them, but like, what if I screwed up the chance to have like an amazing friendship with someone, even if it'll likely take me a long, long time to get to that point? And yeah, I'm still feeling that pressure to, like, to not run away, to dig in my heels, try to be brave, try to see this out and prove that I'm so much stronger than I think I am, because I've been submissive my whole life and I'm fucking tired of it. I don't want to be stepped on anymore. And it's not her fault. This is 100% a me problem. I would never accuse anyone of causing these problems for me. It's no one's fault. It's not even my fault. It's just how things are. And if I could change them, I would. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being stubborn and stupid by not pulling the plug on it and just shutting myself away from these triggers. But I also just kind of want to prove to myself, I'm stronger than I think I am. I'm braver than I think I am. Would talking to her help? I mean, maybe. I don't know. Because, again, I'm still scared that if I say any of this stuff to her, she's just going to want nothing to do with me. Or if I say stuff like this to anyone who I've ever had a problem with, whether they caused it or not, they just wouldn't want anything to do with me. The last thing I am here to do is make enemies. I do not want to make enemies. It is, of course, naive to think that I can be friends with everyone, but at the very least, I don't want to make enemies. At the end of the day, we're all just trying to make our mark on the world. Or just get through this stuff we call life. And even though I've spent like the last 2 hours just ranting and raving at you guys, I don't want you to think this is a cry for help. It's not. And I don't want us to make it all sound just about me. Like, I'm hoping that if I talk about this stuff, then maybe other people will have the confidence to talk about whatever's bothering them.